Hi, this is Felice Sloan with Swanky Maven.
I'm David Leftwich, editor of Edible Houston and associate editor at Houston Food Finder.
I'm Eric Sandler, editor for CultureMap. I'm really excited about this month's topic because we're talking about restaurants that serve small plates. And I have to say, this is really my favorite way to dine. And I find in sort of talking to people, if you really like restaurants, if you're sort of passionate about food, a lot of times this is that split between people who really love going out to eat and people who are sort of more traditional in their approach to restaurants because they find it really annoying, right? If you grew up with apps and entrees and desserts, then you find the style of dining kind of annoying. But if you're like me and you love just like, I want to order the whole menu every time I go out to eat and I want to try a whole bunch of stuff, these restaurants really facilitate that.
Yeah, I think the small plates are often the most interesting things on the menus. They're often the chefs are trying different things. It's where the often more seasonal ingredients. They'll change it every season. And, it's kind of fun because, entrees are fine, but, after 5 bites of something, you're kind of like, okay, I'm ready for something different.
I challenge people all the time that are traditional restaurant people, and I'm like, well, I'm going to want to taste your food. So, I'm telling them. So, and they're like, oh, I'm like, it's fun. We get to try the entire menu and more things. And when you come back next time, they're like, oh, so to Eric's point and to your point, like it is a fun way to dine. And then it's a good way to tackle the menu and try something maybe you wouldn't have normally tried.
Right. Felice, I like a restaurant where you have a bunch of small plates and then a big shared entree. Uh-huh. Like you and I, about a month ago, went to Blue Dorn and we had squash blossoms and oysters and shrimp cocktail and all
crab
the little
fingers and
and then,
all the things.
Then we split a whole dry-aged duck for the table for 4 people. So, that kind of small plates that build to a big entree, that really is my favorite way to eat.
Yeah, it is. My preferred way is to do it like that, right? Like you have a whole lot of sides and you get to try a lot of the new things, some old things. But I also like one of my favorite places to go with small plates and usually getting people outside the loop. It's a little bit harder, but is going to August. It's outside the loop, Indian, Pakistani food, and they like to say that they're the #1 Indian Pakistani restaurant in North America. I may believe them on that because it's huge. It's always busy. Like it is always, I've never gone there, and when I say busy, don't get scared. It's huge, so you're going to have somewhere to sit.
You're going to have to wait for a table, but it moves fast.
I've never waited for a table.
Oh, I've seen people standing out front waiting for tables.
I guess I get there because I get there and I'm like, oh, but I've never waited. I get in. All of us are August people. You have to get the goat chops, chicken lollipops.
Their biryani is really good.
Yep,
the karahi is really good.
Yep.
There's all these different
the menu's
soups
huge.
and stews that are kind of distinct. Yeah, this is every South Asian person's that I know favorite South Asian restaurant.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah.
Well, since you mentioned that, I'm going to throw out another. Well, this is Indian place that's Sri Balibaliwan, and I think I said that wrong.
Sri Balaji Bhavan, I believe.
Yeah.
Don't hold me to that.
But again, this is an Indian restaurant that specializes in basically small plates. It's chat and snacks. So it's like samosas. It's different kinds of pakora, which are like fried veggie fritters, puree. I mean, they have entrees like the giant dosa, but you can make a really fun meal, like a lunchtime with a group of people, just trying all the small plates there, all the chat, all the snacks.
And it's vegetarian.
Yes.
Love it.
One of my favorite new restaurants this year has been Basso. This is in the Heights, live fire restaurant. And again, this is that you start with a bunch of small plates. There's oysters and venison tartare and tuna tartare. The last time I was in there was a bruleed peach with horseradish, which if you're like me and you grew up in a Jewish household, then the horseradish just speaks to a fundamental part of your soul. So to have horseradish with a peach was very delicious. And then You get the giant entree. They have a whole roasted fish. They have big steaks that you can buy. I find myself going back again and again to the pork chop, which is, I admit,
that
somewhat
pork chop,
ironic given my heritage, but it's so delicious, and it's very easy to share.
Yeah, do the shrimp count as a small plate?
The shrimp do count as a small plate.
You have to order the shrimp if you go.
The shrimp are meant, like a mutual friend of ours went to Basso and did not order the shrimp, and I just was like, buddy, you did it wrong.
One of my favorite places also that I go to quite frequently for small plates is the Toasted Coconut. They have some staples that are always there, but I love when, they add some new stuff. I always tell people, get the lamb flatbread. You have to get that. The dumplings, the pork dumplings. They have those sweet and sour cauliflower. Those are a couple of things that I love getting there, but it's so fun. They always have good cocktails. I always say, with the small plates, do that and get a cocktail or two, but also small plate the desserts, because they're going to give you a couple of pies, and get a couple pies. Everybody needs a bite. Get 2 or 3. Add that to the collection.
Well, and if you're not into small plates, they have one of the best cheeseburgers in Houston.
I just learned something. I've never had their cheeseburger.
Well, a few weeks ago, I went to Little's Oyster Bar and even though I have to admit it had the best redfish I've ever had, those small plates were just really good. Like their bluefin tuna crudo had pickled watermelon, rind, peanuts, shisha. It was like probably one of the best raw tuna dishes I've ever had. Their burrata with barquinos, which are the marinated anchovies, which was kind of served like a Caesar salad, but really the anchovies were the star. Excellent. They had a scalloped chowder. They have crab croquettes. But so all of and of course, you might as well get some oysters while you're there. They count as a small plate. So lots of really good small plates there.
Felice mentioned Toasted Coconut, which reminds me that their 2 sister restaurants, Nobi's in Montrose, has a bunch of it's really built around kind of small shareable plates. They change all the time, but the dill bread, the Nano's pasta, they do a big fried chicken dinner for the table. That's always a lot of fun. And then Nano's Pizzeria, the restaurant that's right next door to Toasted Coconut, they do wings and mozzarella sticks and salads, and then you can get a pizza for the table. And I find that generally, these kind of modern pizzerias that have popped up in the last couple of years are really conducive to this style of dining where you split a pizza with some small plates. David, you're looking at me, so maybe I'll let you talk about Elro.
Yes. How'd you know what I was going for?
We've been doing this a long time.
Good anticipation. Yes, I was going to throw out Elro.
Yes.
You mentioned that because it was on, because again, you get the oysters, but their crudos are excellent. Their tuna on toast is another great raw tuna dish. It's like nori, pistachios. They've got some sausage that's really good. Their saltimbocca sausage, which is chicken and prosciutto and sage. And then you can have a pizza. You can share they have a couple of sandwiches that you're shareable if you want to share them. You may not want to share those, but yeah, another place that's got great, they have a hibiscus cured salmon right now that's with beets and oranges that's really good. So yeah, another one in that modern pizza vein that you just talked about.
Another place that's fun is Traveler's Table, right? So not only that's what they do. They do the small plates, but then you get to go around the world. And one thing I tell people, they hear us talk about Traveler's Table, maybe on other lists, but the great thing about them is they do small plates. They're constantly updating and changing that menu. They did they had the fried chicken from all over the globe. So 5 different fried chickens. Some of the things that I think they're in rotation right now, they have some crab samosas, jerk chicken with jollof rice, salmon tartare bites. It's all the thing I love about going there. I'm always excited to see where they're going in the world and what new bites that they've created for that menu. It's so much fun, so much fun.
Let me shift gears completely because maybe my favorite style of dining for this is dim sum. You can get a million different, shrimp dumplings, shrimp and pork dumplings, barbecue pork buns, shrimp noodle. I'm not a chicken feet person, but I know that that's part of the experience for a lot of people. There's sometimes cold vegetable dishes like marinated cucumbers. There's a ton of restaurants that do this very well. Felice, I'll give a shout out to one of the Katie Options dim sum box. I was there very recently. I had dim sum for one, which is a lot of food, frankly, but always very delicious. That family also owns Funk's Kitchen, the legendary dim sum restaurant in Southwest Houston. I know Doughzone Dumpling House has been on an expansionist groove. They started in Midtown. There's now one in the Galleria. There's one in the Memorial area that I see people on Facebook raving about. So just a ton of there's a million different places to eat this style of food, but I'm never mad. Like I'm always very happy to have dim sum.
Yeah, I had dim sum box on my list. I mean, Ocean Palace. Yeah, there's so many places that you can get really good dim sum. Well, I'm going to shout out to, I feel remiss not talking about small plates without mentioning kind of one of the places that may have kind of set the bar for small plates in Houston. That's Theodore Rex, which, one of Justin Yu's restaurants, and they've got that tomato toast that they've changed here and there over the years, but it's been on the menu since they've opened. They've got like those sweet melted onions with buttermilk and roasted with all these herbs are really good. Like their sour pork sausage with like this cucumbers and lime leaf, very simply plated but excellent, and several other things. And that's kind of how you would eat there. Even their larger entrees are more like small shareable plates.
Last one for me. If I didn't mention Octo and Hamsa, I would be remiss. Hamsa is the Mediterranean restaurant in Rice Village. Octo is their new concept in Montrose. Get the octopus, get whatever the bread service is, get some sort of center of plate. There's a Denver cut steak at Octo. There's kebabs at Hamsa. At Hamsa, there's the salatin, all these little small vegetable plates that are worth sharing. There's epic hummus. There's just a million things, but everything that group does is delicious and set up for this style of dining.
Boy, this is hard because I'm leaving at least 3, 4, 5 places on the list that I'm not going to be able to mention. But I think I'm going to go with sitting at the bar at Hugo's and drinking a margarita, and then all of the small, like their grilled octopus, or their like even the pan-seared grasshopper. All these things are served with tortillas, and you can make. They have really great crudos. That lobster tail taco that you can get is so good. And I really, just sitting there at the bar drinking and just trying all the small plates makes a great meal. It's a fun, if you kind of get in there early or something, you can get a good early meal. And still one of my favorite meals in Houston is to do that.
I think for me, going on that, I'm like thinking, which one am I going to mention? It will have to be Cultivore. Get in early. Just so you can get in early. They change the menu all the time, but for me, always get the black pepper spaghetti. They're gonna get a pizza. Their squash pizza. They have the charred octopus, the mussels. Like there's so many places where you can go. That menu, you could just literally go down the line and say, I want this. They always have such delicious offerings. Hi, this is Felice Sloan with Swanky Maven.
I'm David Leftwich, editor of Edible Houston and associate editor at Houston Food Finder.
I'm Eric Sandler, editor for CultureMap, and you're listening to Houston Matters with Craig Cohen.